In this video, we are going to discuss how to attack the opponent's king. We are going to discuss 4 critical diagrams that can help you to improve your knowledge and skill. There are many topics under how to attack the opponent king. Today, we are going to discuss the topic, the exposed king, and we're going to look at the 4 critical diagrams. So I don't want to waste any further time, so let's quickly jump into the video. So we have the diagram number 1 on our board. We are playing with the black pieces, and I want all of you guys to pause the video and try to think, how will you try to continue this position if you're playing with the black pieces? Okay, so how can you continue the move? So here, definitely white's king is extremely weak because there is no g3 pawn. The g3 pawn is on f3, so definitely the g file is extremely weak, as well as the h file. So there is some potential for black to play on the king side. Definitely it looks like the d3 pawn is also weak, so we can maybe target it by playing the move rook d6, rook d8. It's definitely a good idea. But a much stronger idea would be to simply go for the king, because the king is extremely weak. So here, if you found the move queen to h4, which is a brilliant move, there are many other moves to continue the position, which is rook d6. The idea is to simply rook lift, and maybe queen g5, maybe queen h4, and something like this. But queen g5 is not a good move, because after king h1, white is simply going to play the move rook g1, and now queen g5 is not such an accurate move. So here, there are many options for black available in this position. The idea of queen h4 here is, first of all, you are putting the queen at the most optimum square. Second, you are making ways for rook to go on e6 or maybe d6, and now joining the game via rook g6 or rook h6. Third, I'm making a square for the knight to go on e7, which is a very juicy square for the knight, followed by g6 and f4, because f4 is the most optimum square for the knight, attacking the bishop and the queen. That is what black's idea here is. You must choose the most flexible option, and that's all it is for today. First of all, the idea is to bring the queen in the game. Queen h4, knight d2, simply developing the pieces, and now we play the move rook to d6, trying to get the rook into the white's king. Rook d1, and now comes the move rook h6, attacking the h2 pawn. Knight to f1, defending the pawn, because h3 is not a good move, because I can simply capture the pawn via bishop. So knight f1, and now simply knight to e7. Now there are many ideas for black in this position. It looks like, can black play the move bishop h3, trying to trade off a very strong bishop, or maybe rook e6 or rook g6, which looks already very strong. Definitely these are some good ideas, but I think the most powerful move is, after knight f1, is to play the move knight to e7. The idea is to play the move knight to g6, followed by knight f4, which is the most juicy square for the knight. And after rook b1, something trying to play on the queen side, knight g6, queen e3, knight f4. The game is already over. Now you can already sense I can simply play the move rook e6, rook g6, bishop h3, and the game is over. There is no way for white to continue by any means. So this is how you should try to make the attack work. So at the first glance, it looks like the attack is not going to work, but once you start bringing your piece near the king, you will start to get some ideas which are very interesting, some sacrifices. So first of all, the main point here is trying to get the queen near the king whenever the opponent king is exposed, because the queen is considered a very powerful piece. So this was the first diagram, so now let's move on to the second diagram. So coming on to the second diagram, we are playing with the black pieces, and I want all of you guys to pause the video and try to think, how will you try to continue this position if you are playing with the black pieces? Okay, so there are many moves for black to continue the position. Maybe it looks like you can give a check via knight f3 check, which looks very strong move, but white can simply move and nothing is happening. Second looks like maybe queen to b7, targeting the pawn on b4, maybe. So there are definitely some good ideas, or maybe even rook e6, knight g4, trying to get the rook into the game. Many possibilities. But as I said in the first diagram, try to bring the most powerful piece near the opponent's king, which is the queen. How can you try to bring the queen near this king? If you found the move queen c8, brilliant. Queen c8 is a very strong move, because now our idea is to play the move queen h3, and threatening simply one move mate. White is already in a very difficult spot. After queen c8, white must play the move king h1, queen h3, rook g1 in order to cover the g2 square. Now we play the move knight to g4. It looks like can we play the move something like maybe knight to f3? It's not working now because here white can simply play the move rook g2. So you must try to bring the maximum pieces into the game. That's how you make the attack work. Knight g4, bringing one more piece into the game. Now we are having 3 pieces. And now we are threatening mate in 1. White is forced to play the move maybe knight f1, trying to protect the h2 pawn. But now comes the move queen f3 check, rook g2, and now we can simply capture the rook and it is game over. If white plays the move f4, now we can simply end pass in, which is a very strong move. And now f2 is coming up, rook into e3, maybe knight into e3. The game is already over. Knight to f1, knight into e3, knight into rook into. And now rook e2 is coming up, the game is over for white. There is no way white is going to survive this attack. This is how you should try to continue the attack. Try to gather as much pieces as possible near the opponent's king. And first of all, try to start with the most heavy piece, the most powerful piece, the queen. Just try to get the most powerful piece into the game, and now you are simply going to start looking some ideas which you are not seeing at the initial position. So yeah, this was the diagram number 2. So now let's move on to the diagram number 3. So now we have the third diagram on our board, and we are playing with the black pieces, and I want again all of you guys to pause the video and try to think how are you going to continue this position if you are playing with the black pieces. Okay, champions. So if you found the move, knight to h7, brilliant move. The question is still the same. The king is extremely weak because there is no g-pawn. So how are we going to gather the pieces on the king's side, near the king? So first of all, I want to bring my queen near the white's king. But how can I do it? I can't put my queen to g4 via queen d7. I can't put my queen via queen d6, queen g3 because white is simply going to capture the queen. I want to put my queen to h4 or maybe g5. But how can I do that? Because the knight is in between my queen. So first, I'm going to play the move knight to h7. Very interesting move. After knight h7, now I'm starting to look some good ideas. I can play the move queen g5, maybe rook a6, simply maneuvering the rook to g6. And now I'm starting to favor black in this position because now black is looking very pretty. After knight h7, white plays rook c1, trying to put the rook on an open file. I play the move queen to h4. Now the idea is to play the move knight to g5, attacking the h3 pawn. White plays queen to d1. I play the move knight to g5. White can't really play the move king h2 because I can simply give a check, the king move, and I can happily capture the pawn and eventually win the game. So white must play the move queen to f1 in order to defend the pawn on h3. But now I can simply play the move rook to e6, bringing the rook into the game. Rook to c2, trying to defend this f2 pawn in some future lines, and trying ideas to gather another rook to c1. So after rook to c2, we play the move rook to g6, putting the rook a very strong open file. King h1, because if you try to play a move like rook c1, black can happily capture the pawn. You cannot capture the knight because the bishop is pinned, and black is going to eventually win the game. So white must move the king, and now I can simply play the move rook to a6. Again, the idea is simply same, bringing the maximum pieces into the game. Rook c1, and now comes the move rook f6. Simply double attack on the f2 pawn. White plays the move knight to b1, defending the f2 pawn. And now I simply play the move knight into h3. Bishop into h3, and now comes rook to f3, double attack on the bishop. After king h2, bishop to d6 check, bringing all the pieces into the game. The king move, rook takes, and it's simply one movement. Or else, if you want to do something else, like after knight into h3, you can even play the move rook to f3. And after bishop into f3, knight into h3, bishop g2, knight check, and the game is over. There is no way white is going to continue the position any longer. So this is how you should try to continue the position. Just try to look for some ideas. How can you put the maximum pieces near the opponent king. I want to put my queen, so I moved my knight. First of all, getting the most powerful piece near the king. Now, one by one, starting to get the pieces near the white's king. And now, finally, start with the sacrifices, because it is eventually going to work in some crazy variations. Now, then you are going to simply win the game. So this is how you should try to play this particular position, third diagram. So now let's move on to the final diagram of the day, the fourth diagram. So now coming on to the final diagram of the day, the fourth diagram, you're playing with the white pieces, and again, I want all of you guys to pause the video and try to think, how are you going to continue this position if you are playing with the white pieces? Okay, so first of all, opponent's king is definitely really weak because there is no g pawn. The g pawn is on f6. So how are you going to continue the position? I want to put my queen near the black king, but how can I do that? Maybe queen e3 followed by queen g3 maybe, or maybe queen f4 followed by queen g4 can be an idea. But I really want to place my rook near the opponent's king. So can I play the move rook to a4? And if you find this move, congratulations, this is the best move in the position. If you try to get your queen near the king via queen f4, this is a fine move, but here black gets some tempos like knight to d5. That is the reason we want to keep this move as a flexibility. We want to play the move rook to a4, giving a check, kicking the king, and then putting the queen to h3, h6, which is the best square for the queen. So after rook a4, if black plays the move king h8, we can simply jump in with the queen, putting the most powerful piece near the king. And here after queen e7 defending the pawn, rook to h4, and the game is over. It's a fourth checkmate in one. So here black plays the move f5, which is the best move, covering the g4 square from the rook. We play the move queen to g5 check. That is the reason we didn't move the queen, but we first played the move rook to a4. Queen g5 check, king move, and now queen f6 check, king g8, and now rook to h4. After rook h4, black plays the move rook e8, queen g5 check, and here if king h8, simply queen h6, and we are threatening mate in 1. So f6 is the fourth move, but we can simply capture the pawn, and we are already better in this position. Or even bishop h5, bringing one more piece into the game, and after something like maybe rook g8, bishop to g6, triple attacking the pawn, and the game is over. So this is how you can continue the game. If black plays the move rook to e8, if black plays the move knight e8 trying to hit the queen, simply queen to g5 check, king h8, and now queen h6 threatening mate in 1, as well as hitting the rook. The game is over. Black can't do anything. So that's it for today. These were the 4 critical diagrams. Rook a4 was the move to find in this position, getting the pieces into the game, maximum pieces near the king, and this is how you do it. Just keep the most flexible options in your hands, and you are eventually going to see some deadly sacrifices, and you are going to win this any position. So this is how you should try to attack the opponent king. This was the first topic of the day, the exposed king. We are going to come up with these interesting videos like this. On the next video, we are going to discuss another topic that can help you to improve your game. So if you are new to our channel, then make sure to like the video, share this video with everyone, and make sure to subscribe to our channel if you are new to our channel, because we are going to come up with these interesting videos like this that can help you to improve your chess skill drastically. So yeah, so till then, stay tuned and keep watching Oneshot Chess.